We all know the name Kratos, the pale-skinned warrior, the ghost of Sparta, the destroyer of Olympus. He's torn through gods and monsters with nothing but rage and blades forged in torment. He's defied fate, killed destiny, and rewritten mythology in blood. But what if I told you Kratos didn't begin as a video game character? Long before Pixels and PlayStation, there was another Kratos. A god not born of mortal suffering but of divine blood. Not the god of war, but the very force that made war possible. Strength incarnate, power unfeeling, obedience without question. The real Kratos is no hero. He is no rebel. He is strength with no soul, brutality given form. The story of Kratos. In the beginning, when the Titans ruled the cosmos and Olympus was still just a dream in Zeus's mind, there was a goddess named Styx. Not your average river goddess. Styx was the sacred oath-keeper of the gods. She flowed through the underworld, carrying the weight of divine promises. She bore 4 children with the Titan palace, and each one was more powerful than the last. Nike victory, zealous zeal, Bia force, and Kratos strength. Not just strong, not merely mighty. He was strength, the embodiment of power in its purest, most merciless form. When war broke out between Titans and Olympians, Styx didn't hesitate. She took her children and pledged loyalty to Zeus. Not out of love, not out of hope, but out of clarity. The Olympians would win. Kratos became Zeus's enforcer. Not a warrior like Ares, not wise like Athena, not cunning like Hermes. Kratos didn't strategize. He obeyed. He was the hand that broke the bones, the arm that held the chain, the fist that never asked why. When Zeus decreed punishment, Kratos delivered it, without pause, without pity. His most infamous act is told in Prometheus Bound, a tragedy penned by Aeschylus. Prometheus, the Titan who defied Zeus by giving fire to mankind, was sentenced to eternal torture. But Zeus did not carry out the sentence himself. He sent Kratos, the hammer of a tyrant god, the embodiment of the new order. Kratos and his sister Bia drag Prometheus to a jagged cliff in the Caucasus Mountains. There they meet Hephaestus, the gentle god of fire and forge. Hephaestus hesitates. He pities Prometheus. He knows what lies ahead, centuries of agony, the daily feast of eagles upon a regrowing liver. But Kratos mocks him. He coerces Hephaestus into obedience. He mocked his softness and laughed at his compassion. Obey the will of Zeus, Kratos snarls. You were born to serve, not to feel. First, he orders Hephaestus to nail Prometheus' hands to the rock, then to drive a steel wedge through his chest, splitting bone and pride. Finally, he demands the binding of his legs, stripping him of movement and hope. Hephaestus winces, but Kratos demands more pain. He condemns pity as weakness. To him, compassion is weakness. Justice is not about truth, it's about order. And order is enforced with chains. In Kratos' world, only Zeus is free. He doesn't act out of hatred. He has no personal grudge. He is simply doing what he was made to do. That's what makes him terrifying. He isn't driven by rage like the video game Kratos. He punishes because he's told to. He's not a rebel. He's the system. When the god Hephaestus shows a flicker of sorrow while chaining Prometheus, Kratos lashes out at him. Compassion? Pity? These are luxuries for the weak. Do your job and obey Zeus. He does not question right or wrong. Only strength. Only order. Once Prometheus is crucified upon the stone, with divine iron locking his limbs, Kratos stood over him and sneered. Look at you now, fire thief, he spits. Did your precious forethought foresee this? Chained like a dog bleeding on the rock? Rebellion breeds nothing but suffering. You dreamed of freeing mortals, but all you've done is doom yourself. Then, like a hangman stepping off the gallows, Kratos turns and walks away, leaving behind a bleeding warning etched in mountains and myth for all eternity. And yet, Kratos wasn't just a servant of gods. He was called upon by mortals when vengeance was needed. In Euripides' play Electra, the daughter of Agamemnon is drowning in fury. Her father, the great king, butchered in his own home, killed not by enemy blades, but by the hands of his wife, Clytemnestra, and her lover, Aegisthus. Electra is no longer a princess. She is a spark in the ashes, waiting to become a wildfire. And when her brother Orestes returns to her, she prepares to set the world aflame. But before they strike, she cries out, not to love, not to peace. She calls upon Zeus, the highest of the gods. She calls upon Dike, the goddess of justice. And then she called upon Kratos. Come, Kratos, come, strength incarnate. Let your might fuel our vengeance. Let your power break the guilty. In that moment, she invoked divine fury. Kratos becomes her patron, not a god of mercy, but of punishment. This was how the ancient Greeks saw him. A divine force summoned not to forgive, but to balance the scales with blood. He was also present in one of the darkest punishments ever delivered by the gods. The torment of Ixion, the first mortal invited to dine with the gods. Zeus took pity on Ixion and welcomed him to Olympus, but Ixion spat on that mercy. He tried to seduce Hera, the queen of the heavens. And in response, Zeus created a phantom of Hera, a cloud in her shape, to test him. Ixion failed, and from that cursed union came the centaurs. But Ixion's punishment would be eternal. Zeus didn't simply kill him. Death wasn't enough for Zeus. He needed an example. So he called on Kratos. Kratos dragged Ixion to Tartarus, strapped him to a flaming wheel, and spun it through the void for eternity. Ixion spins to this day, scorched by fire, howling through endless air, his body bound by divine strength. His sin was made visible to all generations. That was Kratos' gift, not just death, but a symbolic punishment, a warning carved into eternity: betray Olympus and you'll beg for death. Some say Kratos was a villain, a divine thug, a tool of Zeus's cruelty. Others say he was necessary, a bulwark of order, a symbol of the consequences of rebellion. The ancient Greeks didn't worship Kratos as a hero, but as a symbol to fear. Aeschylus didn't paint him as a savior. He painted him as justice in action. Justice that hurts, justice that terrifies, justice that leaves you bleeding on a rock, to warn the next soul who dares to challenge the throne. He is the god of strength stripped of purpose, brute force with no balance. Where Nike brings triumph, Kratos brings domination. Where Athena uses wisdom, Kratos uses violence. He is the essence of authoritarian power, unyielding, unquestioning, and proud. Unlike the ghost of Sparta, the real Kratos never rebelled. He didn't slay the gods. He served them. He didn't break his chains. He forged them. And yet, the name survives. Kratos. It echoes through ages. Because every empire has its Kratos. Every tyrant has their enforcer. Every system of control has its obedient strength. He is not just a god in a dusty myth. He is a warning. When strength is stripped of soul, when we worship power without wisdom, Kratos returns. So yes, the video game Kratos is a powerful reimagining. He rebels. He questions. He seeks redemption. But the real Kratos? He never questioned. He never repented. He never changed. He is strength without justice, force without morality, obedience without love. And he is still out there, in every iron fist that serves only power. This is the true story of Kratos, god of strength. Not the destroyer of Olympus, but the one who helped build its chains. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing mythic tales. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring the myths that shape our world.